All right, we're live, guys. What's up? Another episode of the
Oh,
Mindset Podcast. John and I, we've been talking for like 45 minutes. Now we're gonna talk to y'all because he's got some cool shit to talk about, and I just want to give him my opinion, whether it matters or not. All right,
we
let's
we
get.
should have we
What do you say?
we should have hit record 45 minutes ago.
I
Really,
know,
to be
I know.
honest, like
But let's get right on. Let's talk to the people about what you're dealing with. And let's also take a look at those. Is that 4 deer heads or 3 that you have there?
oh goodness, buddy, I don't know. I just put them on the wall and
Dude, that's
they
great.
they're everywhere. I got a bear somewhere. I got just a bunch of turkeys, but
Do you
every time I killed something,
do you kill
what's
that
that?
bear yourself?
With
Do
these
you
bare
shoot it?
hands, bro.
Do you hold on? Do you kill the bear in South Carolina?
No, I went to Canada for a
Okay.
while there. I would go to Canada and hunt, go to Africa and hunt. This year I'm trying to go out west, but COVID stuff has kept a lot of people from going out anywhere.
All right. I'm
Um,
gonna I'm gonna I'm gonna stop myself again, guys. This is John. All right, John, the famous Johnald. We've known each other for dude. That's been a while now. Um,
you think
yeah, it's like 5 years.
Five,
20,
about 5 years?
2017.
So
Yeah,
is that a
somewhere around
lot? And we so how did we meet? What was the whole introduction?
there. I think it was through Trace. Not Trey. Sorry, Trey.
Was it
Yeah. Um,
Trey?
no, dude, it
Okay.
was actually through Cole.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
And then I would see you at the contest,
yeah,
the bodybuilding shows, and then I think I just started following you, and this is it.
yeah,
This is how you
yeah.
then you
So,
know everybody by their handles.
yeah. So the cool thing is that the people who follow me on social media know that I just have a very strong opinion about every fucking thing. I say whatever I need to say, and I just say it. So John is the same way.
Well, I think
He just let it rip.
this is where we I think this is how we really jive because
Yeah,
from business to bodybuilding, there's a connection there with how hard you work and the brutal honesty it takes to run a business, the brutal honesty it takes for fitness. So I see the correlation in that, and that's how I think that's the real connection here.
yeah. I have to agree. Just because, um, you've been a business owner for more than I have, right? And it
8 years this Saturday for this particular business.
okay. So I started like my coaching business. It'll be a total of 11 years, but a consolidated business, it's only been
Yeah.
6. Um, so I've been working for myself for 11 years, but knowing how an actual business is run has been it's only a little time. Um,
What's your
so
biggest surprise what's the biggest surprise that you got since starting your business that you didn't know other than taxes?
oh god, that it's not about doing more difficult shit. It's about doing more of the basics more times. It's people overcomplicate things too much. It's just literally repeating what works more and more and more. I think that's my
And
biggest lesson.
again, that's business and that's also fitness.
Yeah,
So, people were getting jacked doing push-ups and sit-ups. Hell, they're doing that in prison right now. And we're out here with all this crazy equipment. I got to get the best gym membership and got to do all this, got all these workout plans and diet plans and different coaches. And I had a revelation a little bit ago when I was on the Stairmaster over here. I don't know if that's what you call it. Dude, I don't even know the names of exercises. I pick big things up, I put them down. Hell, they're not even big half the time. I'm the one thing about having a home gym is that there's no ego in here. I'm not trying to put 3 plates on shit. But the revelation I had was with personal trainers. I'm like, David Brazen is really killing it, and why? Trey Hodge is really killing it, and why? There's plenty of coaches. We can scroll through Instagram here. We can see a million coaches doing all these things. And you're like, if I ask you, David, and I'm going to take the reins here for a minute. If I ask you, hey, hey, what is the difference between Brazen Athletics and every other coach in the world? And you know what the answer is? Rhetorical question. Uh, it's accountability. People aren't paying for the diet. They're not paying for the workouts. That's you know what? Let me take that back. That's 10% of it, 20% of it. But the way you and Trey Hodge, my coach, right, my friend, our friend, the way you guys keep people accountable is is perfect. Like the way you guys handle folks, circumstantial. You know, what do you got going on in your life? And you actually get to know the client. They're just not another number. And bro, that just makes me want to give you money. Like, hey, you asked me about my daughter. You know, you asked me about my acid reflux.
Yeah.
Like you cared about that.
Yeah.
And you know that is in your business. I think you've knocked that down, and you do a really great job of that.
Thanks, man. And that's something that I learned is that I last year I had a goal, right? And I'm gonna X out the number. I wanted to give away a certain amount of dollars for free for coaching. Like I wanted to
Yeah.
help a certain amount of people for free. They didn't pay me anything. This year, my goal is to double that number to help a certain amount of people for absolutely free. When a personal trainer, I mean, I get a daily question from a trainer. It's like, hey man, I'm getting into the business. I want to be where you are. And when I tell them, train people for free for the next 2 years, don't charge them a single dime. They're like, oh no, I can't do that. I gotta make money. It's like, well, when you look at
Okay.
somebody, if you look at somebody as a paycheck, sorry, but you're fucked. You need to look at someone as a human. Like, give them some kind of value. And it's not just in fitness, it's in literally anything, any business, you know? And that's what separates me and Trey and any coach that actually gives a shit about their people, not just placing at a show, not the amount of pounds that somebody has to drop, or just like the person, you know?
Yeah, man. Showing genuine interest and care about folks in any business always pays off. The mistake is that young entrepreneurs are chasing dollars. We're chasing money goals a lot of times. I want to make $1 million. I want to make six figures. All these
Oh, let's get into
numbers,
that
right?
now.
Hey, we can do that. But
Yeah.
before we do, what I want to say is I can't see the YouTube folks, the Instagram and Facebook folks that are live right now. So if there's any questions, you're gonna have to time me out so I can address
Okay.
them. And if anybody does have anything, they need to DM you, get it on the show. Are you able to see that?
I can see the people on Facebook. I can see the Facebook.
Okay.
The
All
Facebook
right.
question.
So for
Yeah.
those who are listening on podcasts, DM David if they have any other questions. I could address them separately. But entrepreneurs that have these dollar amounts, these material goals and whatnot, that's great. I call that motivation. It gets you going. But what I've learned is that when you chase how many people you can help, when you actually focus on how you can help people, and that's all you do, the dollars come with that. And the first year I was chasing a dollar. I was, hey, because the bottom line is that I had zero. I had $5,000 in bills in May, and I had $4,000 in my savings account when I walked out of the last company that I worked for, and had to make it from there, right? And we were talking about anxiety earlier. That was a night where I was white knuckling, on my knees praying, but it wasn't an anxiety attack. It was a healthy dose of anxiety, and that's what we have. We have a healthy dose of anxiety in business, because we're trying to help people, and we're also trying to feed our families. So there's a healthy situation there. But
Yeah.
um,
Um, that's so like it's so interesting that you say that you had a certain amount of dollars and then you had to pay a certain amount of dollars, because I was in the same situation. When I came to the country, my first job was I actually worked with my uncle as an electrician, and I didn't know how to do absolutely anything. It was horrible. Then I quit working with him and I started cleaning toilets for an Argentinian company. I was cleaning
mhm,
villas.
mhm.
It was awesome, dude. I was the youngest guy in the whole thing, and I was cleaning toilets with my aunt. It took me 3 months to become the manager. Um, and I,
Three
they,
months ago, wow,
yeah,
fast track.
I was running the whole show. That wasn't enough, so I started working at the French baker in Hilton Head. So I was serving tables. Then I got a third job at a Mexican restaurant while going to school. I was only 18, 19, something like that. So I was going to school. I only needed a few credits. I went to school from 8 a.m. to 12:30. Then I will go to the French baker to start working. I had to be there at 1:30. I'll work until 6. Then to the Mexican restaurant from 6 to 10:30. And then I'll do the villas during the weekends. Then I got a fourth job.
So, okay.
I got a dude. I talked to with my dad about it. He's like, yeah, you had a goal in mind. So I started working at the Marriott doing laundry. Overnight, I will get there at midnight and work until 6 in the morning. So I'll do all the dirty towels from the day from the pool. I will throw them in the press, fold them, and get them ready to be put out in the.
How long? How long ago was this?
6 years? 7 years?
That was only 6 years ago?
Yeah.
Nice.
And I was doing all that while coaching people. My business, even though I was doing all this, my business was coaching. That's the only thing that I had in my head. It's like, I need to make enough money to pay for bills so I can keep coaching people. I need to pay my rent so I can have internet and everything so I can coach people. So
yeah,
I was working those 4 jobs. And
when did you make the transition to, hey, I don't need these, I need to be focusing on these people? So when did you make that?
I started working at Lava Fitness in Hilton Head right after the French bakery. I met the guy and I started working there. There were people that follow me around. Like, I used to go to Synergy, work out there at night, and they knew I was working out at Lava. And then we started training there. I started working there as a personal trainer. Dropped everything else. Dropped the bakery, the Mexican restaurant, the villa cleaning, and the laundry. So I started working there full time. Yeah, there around 4:30 a.m. and we'll train from 4:30 5 till 7:30 at night. Then I'll do online coaching. So I did all that. Then I became the operations manager. That was the name that I got. I was just selling higher programs for people. I stopped training people, and I was just selling memberships and training for the people that came into the club. So I created my own system on how to sell a program to somebody that needed to work with the coaches that work under me. I started doing that, then actually build a business to do that for bigger gyms. And that's all
helping gyms like Alex Hermosi. Do you follow him?
I work with Gym Lunch.
I'm sorry, you cut out for a second.
You
work with Gym Lunch.
I work with him. Yeah. I think Alex Hermosi.
What?
Doing the same thing. So I met a guy. I went down to oh my gosh, dude, we're gonna have like 300 episodes after we start doing this shit.
Well, let me introduce Alex Hermosi real quick, just so the folks know. Alex Hermosi is only because I listen to him almost daily now. I'm about to just blurt out his 30-second commercial, but right now he owns acquisitions.com. He's pushing about $85 million a year.
87.
And he was the owner. 87, sorry, a couple million off, but he owned a company called Gym Launch, but he was also a gym owner, and he's the ripe age of 32 right now, multi-millionaire. But anyway,
he has nothing to sell you.
That's so funny because I love that. I got nothing to sell you, but that's another topic. But anyway, so you worked with Gym Launch, you started helping gyms take over. What's he got there? 100. There it is. Wow. Somebody tag out. Come on, tag him.
Yeah. So I went down to Gym Launch was based in Texas. So while doing all this gym stuff, like building gyms in South Carolina, I work with Pivotal Fitness here. That's actually why I moved to Charleston. and I had a contact through ProSops in Texas. So I was gonna move down to Dallas to work for the Cowboys facility and do the same thing that I was doing here for them. Use keep building their facilities, sell the programs, and grow the business. But somebody along the way came, just crossed my path, and I happened to marry her. If not, I'll be in Texas right now.
We're blaming people.
Literally 1 week, a week before I moved down to Texas, I met Jen.
Yeah.
So, anyways, going back to Hormozy and Gym Launch, there was a guy that used to work at the Cowboys facility that he asked me to be in their. They had a Facebook group just for the people that work with them, and that day they had a webinar. It's like, hey man, I want you to just watch the webinar. It's like, dude, for sure, absolutely. I've been following Hormosis and since I started doing this. So
Yeah.
I started working with them, doing some consultations for gyms for about 6 months, and those 6 months literally changed my life. Like the way he looked at business and the way he looked at helping people was just a complete different mindset for me. That's when I realized that it wasn't about the money, but the influence that you could have in someone's life. And when people realize the potential that you have of impacting someone in the positive way, it will, the way things look will change. It's not about the dollar amount.
No. And these podcasts, they're not necessarily gonna. I mean, for me personally, it's not gonna bring me any more money. It's not gonna help me. But I want to help those who are listening. That's why I like doing these, because I really like to help people.
Yeah, we're doing this for free. Like I don't. The only
I've got nothing to sell you.
I have nothing to tell you. The only thing that we're getting from this is trying to help somebody, and then once we're done here, I'm just gonna get all right, that was too long for my wife. So
all right. So all right. So that's a brief little thing there. We've got plenty to talk about future, but speak of helping people, let's talk about health. Let's talk about bodybuilding. Let's talk about some health stuff going on with me personally, with the industry of bodybuilding, and maybe everything in between. And this all ties into business. So again, if there's business questions as well, throw them out there. So everybody knows that the past couple of years, I'm guessing a lot of your followers follow some bodybuilding at some level, and even the lame folks out here, the lay folks, they know about bodybuilders passing away. And so there's been a lot, over 200, something like that. I did some research in the past 2 years. And so I said to Coach Trey, what else can I do? He's, I get my blood work done 2 or 3 times a year, and feeling good, looking good. He says, well, you want to get your EKG and your CAT scan done for your calcium score. Oh, what does that do? That measures your arteries and the buildup in your arteries. Okay, no problem. I'm good. Went and got that done. EKG's good. Blood, just a couple little things here I can get better at. Cholesterol's under 200. Blood pressure's good. Feeling good, right? I get back to my tequila, espresso, and a dozen donuts, right?
Yeah.
Because that's how I was living. And anyway, CAT scan came back bad, not good. In fact, it said you're in the 90th percentile for a 37-year-old man, and your score is a 149. So anything under 100, anything under 100 is considered normal. 100 to 400 is moderate. You're at moderate risk. If anybody follows Antoine Valiant, he's a pro bodybuilder. He was in the 150 to 160 range recently. And anything above 400, you're looking at a heart attack within 3 to 5 years. So my daughter's 14. I don't want anybody else walking her down the aisle. My life changed that night. Instantly I seen that score and said, I've ignored the fact that my dad had a heart attack at 55. I ignored the fact that my grandfather, his dad, died at like 58, 59 with a heart attack, because nobody else in the family, even past that, has had any heart disease. They ate like shit. They didn't exercise. And again, man, I look good, feel good. I'm good, right? Wrong. Yeah. So to me,
and you are just a percentage of the people that actually get checked out.
Biggest thing. And that's where Trey had to walk me off the ledge. The cardiologist had to walk me off the ledge because the only folks who get CAT scans usually this calcium score are those who have had a heart attack already.
Yeah.
So any 37-year-old man has had a heart issue, they go get a CAT scan, they score. I'm in that 90th percentile. And so if we go on the street here and measure everybody, I bet I would be in, a small range. But the fact is that there's buildup, and it's number one, from what the cardiologist says, hereditary. Two, I would say, I need to talk about indigestion. I need to talk about the first sign of cardiac or disease, right? Heart disease.
Yeah.
But you have things that we do, with the supplements and bodybuilding, even the cardio. They did a study on marathon runners. Marathon runners have high buildup in their arteries. So there's a big controversy in the American Heart Association. They don't know why athletes and marathon runners specifically have high buildup. The theory is that they're pushing a lot of blood through there because they're always they're always running. There's always they're fat. I mean, their blood's moving fast, so there's more getting caught up. That's a theory. Now it sounds good, but bottom line is us athletes are doing more. We're training more. We're eating like crazy. 280 grams of protein a day is, for me, that's a lot. And you're just making everything work hard. So my days of competitive bodybuilding are done that night. No question. No question. But let me back up because I was talking about what's the number one thing. Hereditary, and also our diet. Of course, if your cholesterol is above 200, you start becoming a bigger risk. As per the cardiologist and American Heart Association, they have a formula to measure you. They take your weight, your age, some other little factors, and I was at a 0.6% risk of heart disease. And he said, I never would have got you checked. Why did you decide to do this? I'm like, these bodybuilders are dying and we need to figure, I want to know everything was good. And so my theory, my working theory is that a lot of these bodybuilders are not getting this checked. The Nick Walkers of the world are not getting their CAT scans. And people are passing away. And it's just unfortunate that this is not even covered by insurance. So I don't even want to talk about the greed and the corruption in insurance, but something so preventive that can help you early on is not even covered. So I had to pay out of my pocket. It was $140, guys. Relax. Don't vote Bernie yet with universal health care. Not yet, right? So $140, got the CAT scan done outside of my Blue Cross Blue Shield. And I got the results that night and started making phone calls and learning how to deal with that. So took all the energy and momentum I did into bodybuilding and all this crap in here and just put it right into everything I can do to be healthy. I want to talk about another factor that is not proven, but there are studies out there now that say these proton pump inhibitors, things that neutralize acid in your stomach for indigestion, things like omeprazole that I was on for 4 years. Every day because my doctor said, here's a pill for indigestion. It got so bad I needed a pill. The Tums weren't working, all this. And turns out that indigestion is actually one of the first signs of heart disease. All right. And so we're going to cure the symptom, they say. They cured the symptom instead of treating the actual issue. And the actual issue was probably this going on. Anyway, so the Prilosec helped me. And also it is supposedly attributes to 26% of heart attacks that happen now.
Wow.
Big number.
Holy shit.
Big number, 26%. And that blew my mind because I've been on something that you're only supposed to be on no longer than 14 days. I've been on it for 4 years, thinking everything's good because my doctor said, you're good to go. You can take this every day of your life. That's not true. It's absolutely not true. There's lawsuits over this. And
Yeah, so that shows how we can briefly talk about how important nutrition is when it comes to this. Just because what you're doing right now is not just taking a pill to fix any digestion issues that you might have. It's just making the choices and creating the right protocol to fix your, your gut microbiome, your digestion, the times, the amount of times I use the bathroom every day. It's not a pill.
Yeah.
It's, the
No.
simple glutamine, apple cider vinegar, lemon, just
Apple cider
simple,
vinegar right here.
simple things.
Yeah, but as bodybuilders, we got to eat a bunch of carbs. We got to do all these things, and so it got to the point where I was just eating so much, I was going to sleep with food in my mouth and my beer. I'd wake up in the middle of the night eating food, and hey, we do these things ignorant. You just, maybe in the back of your mind, as a bodybuilder, you're thinking, yeah, this is probably not that great, but I'm good right now,
Yeah.
and it can never happen to me. But look, I was just eating like an asshole. And I would take the Prilosec, I would eat Tums. Then I'd keep shoving food down. I'd get a little heartburn, eat Tums with my meal. I would never listen to the signs. The food would get here. I would let it come down a little bit. 10 minutes later, back at it in the almond jar. It's just what I did, and it hurt me. And here I am, and I'm having to do some damage control. It's not too late. The whole heart thing is, they say is they cannot reverse the plaque. They can stabilize it with medicine, but you can also stabilize it with diet. There are also a lot of stories online with people reversing it with diet. So I was telling you before, I take about 20% of what doctors say now. I take the knowledge that I know, do the research online, find credible sources, and good testimonies, and I go from there and I formulate my own plan. I couldn't go one day without Prilosec. I'm on day 18. No, I'm on day 19 right now with no Prilosec. Here's what I did. I changed my diet immediately. Processed foods, saturated foods. Let's talk about saturated, not saturated, but processed foods. What's processed? Golly, man, I can totally relate to the folks that say, and I don't have a metabolism issue. I don't have a issue with weight gain at all. I'm always lean. But the folks that say it's so hard to eat healthy, and I used to be like, no, it's not. You just whatever, and I blow it off. But when you truly want to eat healthy, that means no preservatives. That means no oil in there. I don't care if it's soy oil or the palm oil. There's so many different oils that's processed. That right there is hard. I was 2 hours a day in grocery stores relearning things and reading stuff just to figure out what I can eat. And I'm still figuring it out. And I'm so frustrated every day because I might feel a little something and I'm like, what the hell did I eat?
Yeah.
That was supposed to be good.
Yeah.
And I look at it, I'm like, oh, that was bad.
Yeah, I think that's also because right now you have a very specific approach that you're trying to use, just to make sure like you can combat or fight back what you're going through. But for somebody who is obese, eating donuts and garbage literally all day long, I think it's just a bit easier, just like wean off of it a little. Thing is, like, you're doing basically your own research. You're doing a case study in yourself to see how
on myself.
Yeah.
On myself. And here's something that I took today. All right. I don't know if anybody can see that, but it's a food sensitivity test. It tests up to 204 of the common foods that may cause discomfort. And then you can work around that. And Dr. Trey Hodge put me onto this, and I'm excited to see what we've got sensitivities to, because man, if you just try to do this yourself, it's every day is just it's a new thing. And so between this was $200. I'll gladly pay this to figure out what I can eat, because indigestion is miserable. It is torture. You can't do shit. You can't, dude, I'm trying to work on my garden. I can't bend over. I get in the shower. I go to wash my feet. It's just aggravating. And then I'm frustrated that I spent 4 years on a medicine that has harmed me. I've done some self-inflicting things that has possibly harmed me, and the ignorance and just going past the ignorance. There's definitely some guilt you got to get past. There's also anxiety. I can go into anxiety. That's a big subject. Before I get into that, I want to go back to the food thing
Yeah.
because that's anxiety world is it's crazy. And everybody's got it. We definitely we might save that. I'm gonna touch on it, might save that for an entire different podcast that take all day. But the food thing, if I go back, you've all heard the analogy that if you've seen how hot dogs are made, you never would eat a hot dog again, right? So when I go into the grocery store and I go to the food line over here real quick just to pick up some soy milk or something, and it's everybody's shopping, and I'm judging. That's what I'm doing. I'm looking at the Cheetos, the Mountain Dews. There's 72 grams of carbs in the Mountain Dews. Does that lady know? I better go tell her. And it's just I feel like I'm looking at how they make hot dogs when I go into these stores and I actually see and know what people are doing to their bodies. Bro, I have unfollowed probably 100 bodybuilders because I feel like I'm supporting this behavior that's causing death and serious health issues. So I can't watch that. I don't even want to go in a food line, and I'll get over it, I'm sure. But at this moment, it's sensitive to me. So I look at it. I do look at it with compassion because there's an education issue there. There's also society. Hey, take this pill. You can eat whatever you want. Hey, you're healthy. You're within range. No, you're overweight, and doctors don't say that to folks. And
Yeah, right
how do
now,
you?
yeah, obesity is okay. Like, don't be ashamed of being obese. It's like, that's fine. You don't have to hate yourself, but you're in a percentage of the population that will die if you're 10 pounds heavier. Like, if you're,
Oh,
5'5" and you're a woman, you're not supposed to weigh 250 pounds. I'm not
hey,
body shaming anybody. I'm a coach. I help women. But there is health that is important, such as not being overweight. You're at risk of being a type 1 diabetic. You're at risk of having a
mm,
heart attack. You're at risk of
hmm
having circulation problems. You're at risk of having, digestive issues. You're at risk of everything when you're
COVID, right?
no COVID. Yeah. Oh, now this is gonna get
Uh,
crazy. I don't think I can say
that's the last. No,
COVID online.
we're not. We're not touching that one today.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but David, what about curves? Guys like curves. How about that? You hear that a lot?
Oh, like
I mean, you
I,
see it a lot.
I coach them. I hurt for them because girls, ladies, I'm gonna be directly for you right now. Like, listen to this.
Mm, come
Whenever
on.
you start your fitness journey, you're not doing this for anybody else. You're doing this shit for yourself. So if a guy tells you, you know what, I want you to be fine, you can tell that dude to fuck off because you're playing with your health. You do this because you love your body, not because you hate it. And that's something people need to understand. This is a health game. When you realize a fitness is part of your life until the day you die, you're going to enjoy it more. I think I should make that a shirt. I've never said that before,
Maybe.
actually.
And it makes me angry. Yeah, that's funny you say that. But the whole curve game, that's let's think about the past 20 years. That's fairly new. And before that, that was not cool. You're fat, you would get fat shamed, right? But now it's the Kim Kardashian, curves and all this stuff. And so girls think that they're healthy when us guys that know what's going on, that's not healthy. And you might be wearing them yoga pants or them yoga pants are wearing you,
Yeah.
but I know you're not healthy. Like that's not attractive. And there should be more education on that really because listen, I got a 14-year-old daughter and she's in that time where she's growing and last year during the summer we're on the boat, take a picture. She said, Daddy, she looked at the picture and she was never like that. She looked at the picture, she goes, Daddy, can you delete that? Can you not post that? That's what she said. Can you not post that? And I don't want to tell her information on here, but I thought to myself, man, what we're doing to kids, what we're doing to women and females, is horrible. And I said to myself, and that was back in August, I said to myself, when I get done with this bodybuilding show in December, because I'm gonna win. Once I win this, get my pro card, I'm gonna transition into a healthy diet for her because what I've been modeling is not healthy. And so I buy all the food. The dozen donuts, all the carbs. I'm telling you, we're eating chocolate chip out at midnight out of the damn tub. And I was a part of that problem for her. And when I did not win, I said, I'm going to keep going, even though I said I'm going to win. This is it, because look, this isn't my life. I just wanted to achieve a goal, and 2 months later, I get this news. Hey, your heart's not great. And guess what, John? You know what God said? I said, hey, I'm going to keep going. He said, the fuck you are. You're stopping right now, and you're going to get your shit together for that little girl, and so you can walk her down the aisle. And I told Trey, he's one of the first guys. I said, "You're not walking my daughter down the aisle, bro. I love you, but you're not going to do that, and I'll be here." And so I feel, that obligation. I really wanted a son, but I needed a daughter, and if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what's going on with females right now is I'm very sad. I'm sad for them. No, don't be sad, John. Look, man, you're not healthy. And girls in their young 20s and their teenage years, that's the best. That's going to be the best that you guys ever look. All right, let's say it how it is. If you don't keep working out, you don't get some healthy habits, not just working out and getting on the stairs or squatting over here, but eating. Okay, not getting that queso and getting the chips and queso all the time. That's not sustainable. You want to do that every once in a while? Hey, that's great, man. Let's go do it. But
you said, you nailed it right there. Like girls in their 20s, right? Then you're gonna have the same girls that are eating the queso and whatever the fuck ice cream they want to eat now in their 40s. They're gonna say, well, when I was in my 20s, it was easier to lose weight. It's like, no, bitch, it wasn't that it wasn't easier. It's like you did not create habits that are allowing you to be healthy now in your 40s, and that's why you are struggling with losing weight. Like, come on.
Listen, we're talking about respecting women, and you said no, bitch.
Well, dude, they love me.
I know what you mean.
But it's about the habits. It's about the habits, girls. I love you all, but it's about the habits.
Listen, it's easier to gain these habits in your teenage years and in your 20s, your young 20s, because even if you stray away from that, you know how to get it back. So there's that less anxiousness. So when you're 40 and you got a couple extra pounds because you had a couple kids and you're working and life gets in the way, at least you know how to get back to it. And so it's very important to me that I teach Victoria a healthy way of working out and eating now at 14 years old. And 6 months ago, actually, the day after we took that picture when we were down in Florida on the boat, I said, hey, you're going to be driving. You want a car, right? I will buy you a car. She knows I was going to buy her shit. You're going to work for what you got like Daddy did. And I said, I'll buy you a car if you wake up every morning, you go down to the gym. There's the home gym, guys. In the formal dining room and living room is my situation now. But if you come down here and you work out 20 minutes every morning before school, I will buy you a car. She's been down here every day that she's not been sick or anything like that.
You'll let her have Michelle.
Michelle. I'll sell my mom before I sell Michelle, buddy.
Yeah.
Michelle the Chevelle. I mean, you didn't introduce her. That's my car, my baby, my real pride and joy, right? Anyway, so she's been working out and she's going after it, man. And I said, if you want to quit when you're done, I feel like I've established, if I can help her with this habit that she's forming in this routine, bro, that's a cheap car.
Yeah.
That's a cheap car. Because if she takes that the rest of her life, buddy, I did what I was supposed to do. And, take that car to the gym.
And it's just the thing, like, habits. Like this is going to help you with business. It's going to help you with relationships. It's going to help you with literally everything in life. People look at, let's use an example of Gary Vaynerchuk or Elon Musk or anybody who made it, right? any self-made millionaire. They're not smarter than you. They just didn't quit when you did. And I'm saying it from my own experience. Like, how many people doubted you when you started your business? You know, who is this guy? Like, that's not gonna happen. And now they look at you, it's like, holy shit, he made it. Like, he's
Well,
got all this stuff that, you know.
that's important. That's important. But let's back up a little bit. We're talking about issues with society and females and even males with egos and things like that. Let me say this, because you're starting talking about going in the direction of success in business. All right, listen. Yes, the day I started my business, I joined the gym. Not because I knew what you were talking about, but because I had the freedom to do so and I wanted to. I wanted to look good. And that worked together. A few years later, after a couple divorces, I'm in therapy, I'm going to counseling. And so I'm trying to figure out myself. And so it's very important, and it might not be popular, but I go to therapy every 3 weeks for the past 10 years. I've been going to my counselor when I have to or I don't have to. There are days I got nothing to talk about, but I keep a journal and I go in there and we're going to talk, because you not only sharpen your body, but you should sharpen your mind and your I love it. So you got to be good physically, you got to be good mentally, and you got to be good spiritually. Whoever you're praying to and whatever, but meditate, all these things. And if you can do all these things, man, if you can do your physical, your spiritual, and your mental, you got it. Keep the emotion out of business, if you're able to control your emotions and all that, man, the world is yours. And I think we don't teach that. I don't think that we're teaching that, therapy and counseling should be a must, man. We go to the gym every day to sharpen our bodies. Why are we not sharpening our minds? We're dealing with things like anxiety and depression and, relationship issues, mommy issues, daddy issues, all these things. And we're just left to our own device. Like, come on. Like, why don't we teach that? Why don't we make that the new norm? Mental health. We talk about mental health. What does that mean? That means counseling, guys. That doesn't mean medication. That means working out. Working out's going to help your anxiety, your depression. Going and talking to a counselor so you have you have an outlet to talk about your issues, where you don't feel like anybody that's been in depression or anything like that. They don't like to talk or wear out. What I've noticed is that they don't like to wear out the people that are closest to them, family and friends. And I know when I get in a funk, the last thing I want to do is like, hey, David, Trey, hey, man, I'm just, I'm feeling down, man. Like, because you push that out there. I don't want to put that into the atmosphere. And then you validate that. I don't want to validate that. I want to compartmentalize that, keep that emotion over here, and go deal with that with my counselor so she can tell me that I'm fucked up.
Yeah, so something that I do with my clients, just because whether people like it or not, we all deal with depression of some sort, right? We all have a certain level of depression that we're dealing with. Some are greater than the others, but something that will help everyone is being grateful. Gratitude is something that can help you with anything in life. So something that I do when I have a client dealing with some kind of like tough time with their mindset is to text me 5 things that they're grateful for every morning. It's very helpful because it helps them understand. First thing you do when you wake up is think about the positive, right? It's not about when you're making the decision of something, it's not about what you're losing. That's what people think of, but what you're gaining instead.
David, it sounds great. It sounds great. Somebody that's listening right now is saying, "Oh, that's easy for you to say, David. I know you got your life together and you're doing this." They don't know what you're dealing with, but it's easy for you to say, to be grateful, And you pick 5 things. You start with one. And the other thing I would say is, I want you to write down everything that stresses you, everything that's anxious, that makes you anxious. All these things that stress you out, literally write it down. Hey, I'm grateful to wake up today. Okay. I'm grateful for my daughter. And the next thing, I'd like to write down everything that stresses me out. And then everything that I cannot change or fix, I'll cross it out. And it's weird how I look at that, because us humans, for some reason, we're crossing things out. It helps us. I don't I don't know the science behind it, but I know when I get done with this, I'm like, I'm not as anxious as I was. I'm not as stressed out as I was because most of the time we can't help that. If we can, great. I'm happy. I'm happy to take that ownership because now I get to fix that. Oh, well, I can fix this problem. I didn't cross that out. Now I can go to work on that.
You just taught me something. I've never done that, and I think it's amazing.
Self-taught, man. Maybe I heard it somewhere, but on top of that, I will. I'm getting going, right? I've had zero caffeine and zero alcohol, by the way, guys. But I get going. But the other thing is that what are you filling your mind with? And all day, every day, we're sending memes to everybody. All these funny things about Putin, about all these funny things about the Kardashians and the Kanye West text to Pete and all this stuff. People are bombarding you with videos and all this stuff. And you look at it and you're like, and I did this one time. I'm like, how much time did that take out of my day? That was not productive. That was either not productive or negative and brought me down. It was 2 hours out of my day. And I was just blown away. I'm like, what could I have done in those 2 hours? I mean, I could easily have trained. I easily could have been talking to somebody, helping somebody, building my business. And, we spend all that time doing that. So if you look at my phone, if you look at, I've tried to organize my phone. I'm not great at organizing, but on YouTube videos, on podcasts and audible.com, because I don't read, I'm listening because I'm driving a lot. I listen to books, I listen to all this stuff. And, it's hard to find a mentor, David. It's hard to find people that are in your group that you can listen to, especially in the day when everybody's working. And so I would encourage strongly to find yourself a nice podcast, a nice book, but continuously to always be feeding yourself when you're in that anxiety mode, when you wake up in the morning. You know what I listen to? And you could ask him, as soon as I wake up, bro, I roll over, I hit my phone. I know they say don't touch your phone. I hit my phone, I put on Jocko Willink or David Goggins to yell at my ass because I don't want to get up. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm getting to. That's where I start.
It's funny how we've never talked about this ever, guys, never. And you just told me about a little bit about your morning routine because I know now that you have one. I wake up and the first thing that I play is my wedding song.
Really?
I listen to it's just
wow.
It makes me happy. It's set on my YouTube. I wake up and I hit Speechless by Devin Shea every single morning. I hit that, I listen to it, then I have my video already preset by either Andy Frisella. I love Jordan B. Peterson. I think he's amazing.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
I do David Goggins any video that I'm gonna preset today at 9:15 because that's when I put my phone away, and then I have it ready for the morning. There is literally nothing in the morning when I wake up that is going to, make a negative impact in my life, in my head. All in the morning, everything in the morning is positive. Once my mindset is ready to take on a negative news or whatever, I'm ready for it. I'm ready to take it because my mindset is ready to avoid anxiety and anything that could be negative in my life. Every morning.
Do you listen to a lot of news?
Never. I don't listen to.
I listen to enough to know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't. I don't. Just because since I come from Venezuela, right? My whole life was just news of the terrorists, the new cartel that came down. Like that has a very negative
constant.
In my head, it's just like it messes me up, right? Something that I don't do, I don't have notifications on my phone. I don't have notifications for Instagram or Facebook or anything. I don't watch stories on Instagram. I watch yours, I watch my wife, and 2 or 3 clients. That's it. Because when they pop up, I don't click on people's lives because it doesn't add value to mine. I make people watch mine because I want them to give them more value than they give me. So I can be a part.
Wow, listen, I love that. And I would tell you, I do the same thing. We don't do these things on purpose sometimes. It's something natural we do. Like, I want to listen to something good because I want to feel good. Like the same thing with the stories. I'll only watch certain people's stories, but not many at all. Because if it's not helping me, I feel like I'm in that TikTok world where you just get stuck for 3 hours. Like, what the fuck did I just watch? And I feel so counterproductive. So I don't want to watch you eating your food unless you're giving me some ideas. Did you check your text? Um, and so your workout, that's great, but if I was in that, if I needed to look at that, or if I was in that world trying to learn how to work out or eat, then I'd watch it. But I'm not watching folks' stuff. Just not.
It doesn't help you grow.
Limit all that stuff. No, it doesn't. Absolutely not. Trying to think what else we had with that negative stuff. What do you tell your family, or when you've got a negative something going on in here?
I'm very radical with my decisions and the way I do things, right? Very extremely radical. And
Battery.
Something that I do. Oh, I see that tequila there.
Oh, you caught me.
Yeah, something.
I haven't touched that in weeks, bro.
Something that I do is think of the most negative thing that can happen to my life, the biggest tragedy that could ever happen to my life, which will be
losing
my wife, losing my dad, or losing my mom. Jen, my dad, or my mom. There is nothing worse that could ever happen to my life, right? So that is my number one priority when it comes to stress. So if someone called me and said, hey, your dad's in the hospital, there's absolutely nothing that anybody can tell me that's going to be more important than that. So what do? I match any kind of a stress in my life to that. Well, someone said that I was fat and I have bad breath. Okay, cool. What's the level of importance compared to my dad in the hospital? Oh, absolutely zero. I don't care for it.
Okay.
That's the way I am able to protect myself, and that's why I'm able to not give a fuck, right? Because people know me because I just say what I have to say. I don't care, but just because I'm very true to myself, I'm very honest, and that's my protective mechanism.
It's protective. You have to have that to as what is it? Trent Shelton. Do you listen to him? That's what he says. Protect your peace. He says protect your peace. Now, here I'm going to challenge you with something because you're like me in this, in that realm with protecting your peace. It's easier for you to cut things off and tell people, just block them or whatever the case. I don't want to hear your shit. And I can do that. I've done that with family. I do it with people all the time. And every relationship should be mutual as far as a give and take. Now, that might sound selfish. I don't know. But, David, I can't just be giving into my friendship to you all the time. You can't call me every day and me give. You need to put something into this relationship, put it on the table. All right, here's my challenge to you. The way that we deal with our problems is we take it to the furthest, what can happen. All right, a death. That is the death, or bankruptcy, something that's all right. But to your future children, to your future daughter, to your future nieces and nephews, or whatever it is, they're going to come home from school and say, crying, somebody said I had bad breath. And now all of a sudden, big bad Daddy David is like, I'm going to beat up an 8-year-old, or, what can I help you with? But, or you're going to dismiss them like, no, quit bitching about that. Get back to work. The thing is that everybody has different monsters, and I've not been the most sympathetic person in my life. And, when you said I'm the realest motherfucker in that thing right there, it's like, yeah, but I've been a dick my life. And the more that I go through life, and I believe the older we get with these experiences, the more I can sympathize with people and understand them more.
You just fucking
and I think that's huge.
Yeah, you
when you can understand people, number one need of a human is to feel understood. And when you can say that, it sounds good, but when you really think about that, when you're in a discussion with somebody and they're talking most of the time. A lot of young people will talk, 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 talk. You know how I used to get girls? I would just ask them questions and let them talk, 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 talk. Next thing you know, they're in your hands, right? People want to feel understood. So you do that with customers, clients, your friends, you do all these things, but the trick is that you should actually, you're not trying to pick up girls, right? So you should actually try and understand them so that you can help them by solving a problem, but you don't know how important that is to them.
Yeah.
My daughter's problems at 14 years old, it's like in my mind, I'm like, the fuck, are you serious? Like, what?
Yeah.
That's so easy. Let's do this, and you could do this, no big deal. But to her, she's never, ever, ever dealt with that. So helping her, that means I have to rewire my brain, go back 20 years, and say, all right, well, how did I do in that situation? How did I
Yeah.
deal with?
And it actually goes both ways, because right now you're dealing with like adult problems, right? Where you had to fire an employee.
Mm,
And then you tell your daughter,
oh,
it's like, I had to fire an employee. And she's like, Dad, that's not a big deal, right? It literally goes both
actually,
ways.
it's the other way around. She's very, women and girls have a lot of compassion, and when it comes to making business moves, whether it's kicking a tenant out of a house, whether it's come to firing, and I make Victoria, I say make her, when I pick her up from school, I make sure the speaker's on. I talk to her about business stuff so she understands this stuff. So when I got to kick a tenant out, I would ask her, what would you do here? What, or, how would you handle this? I got to fire this guy. What do you think? And she's got the biggest heart. And women are nurturing animals. That's what they do. Men are out here killing shit. Now, listen, girls, calm down. I know there's exceptions, but in a general population, this is, I think how we were built. So anyway, so women, a lot of times, my daughter is like, hey, well, it's Christmas time, Dad. Hey, it's you can't do that, and he's worked hard, and so they're a voice of reason sometimes, and we're so hard headed, and so we have to learn from them with that compassion, because we get so goal oriented. We have to kill an animal so we can eat.
Yeah.
A woman would come in that situation. A woman, a more compassionate person would come in and say, like my daughter, she would say, well, Dad, we have enough food for the next couple of days. Let's see how he does. So we can give a little more grace. And don't we all deserve a little more grace?
Yeah.
I mean, we
And
we do, because
I cannot make a business decision without asking Jen.
it's a great partnership when
It's
you can have that.
just because, like I said, I'm very radical with everything. I think through.
Hmm.
I never make just
Yeah.
impulsive decisions. Like I'm not like
Hmm.
like I I look at both scenarios. I look at their side and my side, and um
Hmm.
I I study the whole thing, right? But then when I ask Jen, she has a complete different perspective, and it's like, oh shit, I didn't think of that, and boom, that sounds like a
Hmm.
better answer. So I have to agree with you on that part. Um,
Well, and I know plenty of men who run businesses where their wives are the hammer, and these guys don't want to fire. They don't want to do that, and the wives are the hammer. And so that's a great partnership as well. There's got to be a hammer. There's got to be some compassion. And then that's a good partnership. But um, if you're able to do that on your own, for your single parents out there, for anybody who's running a business, I don't have any partners in my business, but I could just see how this would help you either way, because you have to, with Jen, if she has a bad day, you have to spend time understanding why she's having a bad day. You can't just go over there and say, hey, suck it up, Buttercup. We
yeah,
got to work out today. And anyway, so your furthest point of pain would be death with family members. Hers might be, I might lose my job, or and all right, well, why is that important to you, sweetheart? And then figure that out, unpack that. But that's how you know in the big picture here is that's how you handle some stress. And I don't know, man. I think I'm getting old because I'm getting a lot more compassionate about things.
yeah,
But
yeah, and yeah. Dude, we've been talking for a whole hour, well, an hour and a half.
is it? Well, hopefully it helps somebody.
Yeah.
Um, we can revisit. Is there any messages or anything like that?
There's a bunch of questions here, but if I pick one, I have to pick 10. Um, so I think. I think we should cut it today. I think we're good. Then this is I learned a lot from you today, just in an hour. Um,
Oh
so
man. Well, hold on. You said you had a lot of questions there, and you got to pick 10. How's that work? What do you mean?
if there are a lot of questions, so what we could do, it's just do a podcast to answer all these questions, um, or I can just pick a funny question that they sent here, and we can answer that one. I'll pick three. They're pretty good. Um,
Well, I mean, use your judgment. I mean, if somebody's in a dire need or they got something real, let's help somebody if they need
let's
some
see.
help and it's something that's keeping them up tonight.
This is really good. Hold on, let me do this one. What key activities would you recommend entrepreneurs to invest their time in?
Self-development. Self-development. Like I was saying before, that didn't even take me a second because you got to build yourself up. So like I said, you got physical, mental, and emotional. All right, get yourself a good counselor, somebody you can talk to, not just your best friend that's going to agree with everything you're saying, somebody that's going to challenge you. Okay, get your spiritual life in order, whatever that may look like, meditation, God, Buddha, whatever. Get that figured out. And of course, your physical fitness. And that would keep you busy. Get your YouTube going, get these books going, just constantly feed yourself. But personal development would be my number one answer.
Yeah,
What would you think?
I think this guy he owns I think he owns a restaurant. Use space. I have to look at his profile, but I think he owns a restaurant. He's a Facebook friend. I have to agree with you. I have to agree with you 1,000%. When it
So
comes
for
to
the restaurant, let's I'm
uh,
sorry.
when it comes to if you're an entrepreneur, you own your business. Um, you have to invest in self skills, things that you can do. Like how much can you develop yourself to be the best version of yourself, to be better at what you do. um like every single penny that comes into my business is being put back into the business because I want to develop myself, whether it be becoming a better speaker, marketing, just learning how to do better things. I think you nailed it. I have to agree with you. uh no.
Get a little more specific. Get a little more specific for him because if I was asking that question, I'd want to be it. I would want it more specific. And so, does he own a restaurant? You think he does, or he?
I think he owns a restaurant.
All right. So if I was you and I owned a restaurant, I would be focusing on the things that would help me grow that business, that restaurant, by following folks on your Instagram, on your YouTube, in person. I would surround myself with guys who have restaurants and are been successful at what I was doing. I'd follow them. There's got to be plenty of folks in that realm. I'm so ignorant to that, but I would immediately go to YouTube and start watching that stuff. Something that you can never have enough of is leadership, because that's how you grow your business. And if you're an entrepreneur, you need to be able to uh, persuade, motivate, and teach others. And so work on those skills to be more specific, especially patience, because not everybody's going to, run that restaurant the way that you would want it done. So you can always work on those skills, leadership. Go watch Jocko Willink on YouTube and follow him on Instagram and just hit Jocko leadership and have at it. You're going to learn a
Yeah,
lot.
I can add anything to that. I can't. Like you said exactly what I will say.
Awesome.
Just
Awesome. Awesome.
self development. That is the best skill that you can acquire when you're an entrepreneur. Like that is, there's
That
not like you build your business, but at some point you are the business. So you cannot help somebody else grow while you're still on your, you know, you know. I want to make it a little bit simple for everyone to understand. You cannot have to teach a skill. You want to master certain things yourself, be the best version that you can be of yourself, so you can help others develop, teach, and understand, like you said, that nobody might be able to do the same job that you want done because you are that business. So being able to develop your team, it's very important. And to develop somebody, you need to develop
You're
yourself first.
well, and that starts with listening to stuff. And if you're going to influence folks, you got to figure out how to do that the best way. I want to do a podcast specifically on ego. Um, I'm sitting in a lawn chair in one of my rental homes with a multi-million-dollar company, and I've had to do this to fix my ego. I put myself in this situation to fix my ego so that I can grow this business and be a better leader. When I'm uncomfortable, when you're uncomfortable, you figure out how to be comfortable. And so I want to do a podcast just on ego. I think that'll help a lot of entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs. We all go through these cycles of, we work our ass off. You came from Venezuela from nothing. I grew up in a trailer, bro. I don't need to live in a trailer. I don't need to be sitting in this awesome fucking fold up lawn chair in this living room. But you got to get over your ego. You want to have the nice things. Everyone wants to have the nice things nowadays. And talking about material stuff, I want to do a podcast on this because I've been guilty of it, but now I'm fixing it.
Last week, let's see, 2 weeks ago actually. There's a guy that he follows me. He's been following me, dude, for the last at least 5 years. He's seen everything that I've done, and that's kind of like a personal question, because he's seen the growth of everything, and he asked me, "What is the biggest difference that you see on yourself before becoming a millionaire?" And it was I don't talk about money, right? Because some people are not comfortable talking about it. You and I can talk about it, right? And my I answer as I buy less shit that I don't need. When I was broke, I bought Louis Vuitton shoes. I bought all this different stuff. Like I wanted to drive, the ton drive of the year, because it was a cool thing. Jen gets mad at me because I go to Walmart with shoes that are $10. My shirts are $5. I have a fake chain, and it's just living a simpler lifestyle.
Right. But you do sometimes, we all do this. We all have this pride ego thing where we want to get the nice things, right? And because it's a status thing. It's cool, man. Got the boat, got the thing over here, whatever. It's cool. But I want to, everybody talks about being a millionaire, making six figures. A millionaire, I'm going to use that as a general term. A millionaire, what is a
Hold on,
millionaire to you?
1 second. I just got a text from Jen. She says, "Oh my gosh,
Oh, shit.
I wish I could pull up this text." I'm actually gonna show you what she said because I think she's listening. She said, "I get upset because your shoes have holes in them."
Brother,
So,
I got you. Yeah, I do the same thing. I get it. I get it. So the millionaire that definition can mean a lot to people. And what is your purpose in life? Dude, we definitely need another podcast, but what is your purpose in life? When somebody says to me, I want to be a millionaire, I say, why? And they say, well, because I can buy this. Well, what is that going to do? Well, that means I can do this. What does that mean? Well, I can take my friends over here, my family here. So what you're saying is that your quality time with your friends and family means something to you, right? And your freedom. So you're a freedom-driven person who wants to spend quality time with your friends. You don't need $1 million to do that, dude. You need to work your ass off and figure out how to do this. Stop chasing that dollar. And again, you start helping people, you can do more of this. So the definition of a millionaire is a farce. That will happen. And you got to understand, you got to figure out what your purpose is. again, are you freedom driven? Are you driven to be happy? Are you driven to help people? Is that, compassionate folks want to help people? Maybe you want to go into the Peace Corps. Maybe you want to start a foundation to help folks. And you don't care if you're making $30,000 a year, $10,000 a year, $1 million. It doesn't matter as long as you're helping people. So I forgot what the question was. You said something about being a millionaire. Somebody said something about being a millionaire. I would
He
ask
asked
anybody.
what the biggest difference was between the two. Um,
Mm,
between being broke and just making that
mm,
certain number, right? And the big thing is like,
mm,
dude, I have, and I'm sure you're the same way. I have friends that are not making 1 million. They're in the seven figure, eight figures, like nine figures, right? They're like extremely powerful people that nobody knows about because they're not on social media. They own a business and nobody knows about it, and they're extremely stressed. They cannot enjoy their lives. They just go through every day with extreme stress. And I also have friends very close to me that they make 40 grand a year and they're the happiest people I know. So, like you said, it's the purpose, your why. Like, why do you want to make that much money? Like, if you make
yeah. Well, let's
100,
not pretend that money doesn't help. Let's not pretend like money doesn't help pay for doctor's bills. Your mom's sick with cancer, or I got a $3,000 property tax bill on my truck the other day. I was like, man, this sucks. But let's not pretend money doesn't help you be less stressful. It does.
of course,
But how
of course.
you get that money is why you have to figure out your purpose. It shouldn't be that I got to do this for
Yeah,
that. But
that's the end goal. Like, that's what's your why? Like, like that is the biggest question. Like, what is your why? Why do you need, like, how much money do you need, right? And that could be a
if
whole.
somebody says I want a fast car, I want the Ferrari, I want the Lambo, you're gonna burn out quick, bud. That doesn't. And then once you get that Lambo, it's cool for a few weeks, and then you gotta do $30,000 worth of maintenance on it that year, and it's cool to take out once in a while, and then it just becomes another staple in your driveway. It's just not. Go rent one. How about that? Go rent one for a
Yeah,
week if that's
that
your
is it.
goal to have a fast car or a plane or something like that. But next question. What we
All right.
got? Something that's keeping somebody awake at night. Find one. Find something that we can help somebody here tonight.
I'm gonna ask you one, and you tell me if you want to answer or not. Do you cut out any one of your life this year? If not, should you have?
Great question. Great question. I battle this. And so it sounds easy when I got to answer this because I battle this on a weekly basis. I want you to take your phone and look at your last 20 text messages. Was it fruitful? Was it not? Are these stressful people in your life? When you see their number, do you get anxious? Do you hesitate before you answer? I've got folks in my life that, like I was saying before, we have a mutual friendship, you and I, mutual beneficial. Um, I give you information, you give me information, we learn, we grow together. That's our friendship. If it doesn't help you grow, it's only helping them, it's toxic. Okay? And you have to identify when you're being toxic too. And that's something nobody talks about. Nobody wants to admit that they're toxic. And so I know when I'm toxic, if I'm complaining a lot to somebody, if I'm the only time I call them is to help me solve a problem and not help them. And I've had to cut out relationships, and not many. I've had to cut out relationships because I realized I was being toxic. Okay. Mentors and friends that I just realized I was dragging them, but I had nothing else to offer them. And that happens. But identify that because one day you will be able to help them, but don't waste their fucking time either. And anyway, so yes, the answer is yes. There's always somebody on the chopping block that it could have been friends for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And man, that's a tough one. It's a tough question because I got childhood friends that I get that text, I get the FaceTime, and it's 1 o'clock at night and I'm sleeping and they're drunk and they want to talk. And it's, I got the next day I'm trying to wake up early and it's like, look, I know we've been friends a while, but this isn't helping me. And dude, it's hard because you want to answer it. You know, it's your boy, right? You grew up with him.
Yeah, I've been in the same
So
shoes.
the answer is yes. It's as we evolve in life, we have people in our lives for periods of time, boyfriend, girlfriends, friends, mentors, teachers, all these things. We're going to evolve out of these relationships. David and I, we might have a good run for 10 years, but you might go off in this direction, I might go off in this direction. And it's nobody's fault. You just have to identify that and understand it. And then you can be okay with that. Don't feel guilty about that. Don't feel guilty that you've got to grow over here, because you have to grow over here so you can take care of all your employees, your family, and friends. David Goggins does not reply to everybody's DMs. Why? Because if he spent all the time doing that, he wouldn't be doing what he's doing to inspire others.
Yeah.
You understand that? Like that you have to be good at your craft. How do you get good at your craft? You can't be spending your time over here. And as you gain notoriety in your business or in your life in any other way, you're gonna have more people coming to you. So you have to be more disciplined, not less. You have to be more because, bro, I love to help people. And it's, if I didn't think this podcast was helping people, I would be working in my chair right now on my laptop, eating at the same time, you know,
Yeah.
kissing her Victoria goodnight. I'll be working, but I genuinely feel like we're helping folks. And um, in short, yes, there are people in my life in this past month, even.
Yeah, and thing is like, you have to look at it from also this perspective. Everybody, it's like it's not just in a specific person that you need to cut out. When you were in elementary school, you had a bunch of different groups of friends. Like you chose what group you wanted to be in today, right? Now when you get to middle school, you have more friends. Now in high school, you want to be the cool kid. You want to be in all the groups, but you're also very specific of who you spend the time with because you don't want to hang out with the nerds. Now you go to college, the group becomes a little bit smaller. You want to be closer to the people who are going to help you pass the class. If you're a dumb fuck like I was, right? You're not. I wasn't smart in school, so I
Dumb
used.
fuck. I didn't go to college. What does that make
Oh,
me?
yeah, I didn't go to college either. So when I was in
Oh, I
high
thought you
school,
said you went to college.
no. When I was in high school, I just hung out with the people that will help me pass the class, right? Now, when you
Yeah,
go to
yeah,
college, for those who go to college, the group gets smaller. When you get out of college, you hang out with some, group of friends. So it went from knowing 50 people to knowing five. So it's not just someone that
yeah,
you cut out last year, it's your circle. Who are the five people that you spend the most amount of time with? That's who you are. Um, protect your circle.
yeah,
Protect your circle. That was a
yeah,
really good
man.
question.
All right. Well,
So you
yeah.
got
One
more?
more, one more question, and we'll cut it out.
I will wrap it up. Man, there are a bunch of here. Um, there's one, a foodie one. Um, all right, this is let's keep this one simple because we could go another 45-minute talk on this one. Are there any food groups that you have given up?
Food groups. Um, I don't like these labels on diets. People say paleo, keto, all these things. Um, I'm taking this so I can decide what's good, what's bad. I would say I cut out all saturated fats. I say all 90% saturated fats. So I'm eating things like almonds, salmon. I do get some chicken in. There's not much saturated fat in any of that stuff. But I realized that saturated fats like oils was hurting my indigestion. And so if you look at the back of things that you think are healthy, there's going to be some sort of oil in it. 90% of the time, it's crazy. And so I stay away from all those oils as I heal. I'd love to be able to get some virgin oil in there when I'm cooking my asparagus. I want to spray it on there. But right now, I'm just hitting it with Pam, putting salt, pepper on there. But so saturated fats and processed foods. And these aren't food groups, this isn't the pyramid, but processed foods and cheese. Cheese. I'm staying. I had some vegan pizza the other day, but I'm limiting that as I tackle my indigestion for now. But the processed foods, I think people struggle when I say that. People struggle with what is processed foods. David, I didn't really know, and so I'm thinking, jasmine rice is fine. I'm thinking, this cracker over here is fine. Anything has to do with white flour or mixing stuff up to make it taste different is a processed food. And I want you to expand on that. But when I see something that's been processed, I'm not messing with it. And so far, I'm 19 days without indigestion, and I'm doing a couple other things like probiotics, the apple cider vinegar deal, and I've dropped the caffeine. Because I'm testing. I'm in a little beta test right now. But tell me more about processed foods, David.
So, to answer directly the question of food, the food groups, you should not eliminate
Mhm.
any single one of them. Your body needs carbohydrates. Your body needs carbs, and fats, and your body needs protein. You need your body. Those three have a job to do in your body. What do you need to eliminate? The foods that are causing, gas. The foods that are causing you
Issues.
a headache. The foods that are causing you to not go to the bathroom for 3-4 days. Right? The foods that after you eat them, you get bloated. Right? Whenever you're holding water.
Oh, sugar. I've cut out probably 90%, more than that. Anything that has some sugar in it, because I realized that sugar was hurting my indigestion. And and also it's an inflammatory. It makes things so much worse. And dude, you watch me. I would post videos eating donuts and cookies. And like I said, I was eating chocolate chip donuts or chocolate chip cookies, dough in the middle of the night. I loved sugar. And I thought because I look good, I can eat this. But in fact, it was hurting me. And the sugars are worse than saturated fats for your arteries, believe it or not. These aren't groups, these aren't food groups,
Yeah,
but
but I think
I hope that.
when people ask this question, I think that's what they're referring to. You
Mm,
have if it fit your
mm,
macros, right? That's a very popular diet. The thing is, like,
yeah, yeah.
it's not if it fit your macros what people do. They call it if it fit your mouth, right? If I'm able to put a pop tar on my Fitness Pal, so that means that I can eat it because it has a gram of protein, 30 grams of carbs, and 16 grams of fat. No, that is processed. That is not a whole food, like nutritious something that you're putting in your body. If you want carbohydrates, oats, rice, potatoes, like something that doesn't come from a box, it's going to help you. Like the protein that you get from Oreos is no protein. That's a fucking cookie. Like fats from fried. Oh, I went to KFC and I had some fried chicken. No, you didn't have fried chicken. You had fried something. That's no
Yeah.
protein. Like no. Like
You
don't
had
like.
oil. You had oil.
Yeah.
Now, now, I said I cut out sugars, but I'm eating a lot of fruit. So explain the difference between those differences, the regular
So
processed sugar and the fruits.
So there's a big thing right now. Well, not right now. I mean, it comes in waves and fats, right? So you have various types of sugar. You have glucose, you have sucralose, you have all processed sugars. Carbohydrates from fruits are not the bad. Sorry, sugars from fruit are not the bad guy. They have certain jobs in the body that are going to help you with digestion. They're going to help with better production of hormones in the body, right? So when John is talking about sugars, he's talking about donuts. Sugars from donuts, not from a banana, not from an apple, not from
My cinnamon toast, the cinnamon toast crunch, I'd eat every night 2 bowls of as I'm in bed
yeah.
and put
So
down on the end table.
what do we want to regulate when it comes to sugar? We want to regulate your blood glucose in the morning, right? That blood glucose is going to dictate how insulin resistant you are, right? Carbohydrates are not the bad guy. What you're doing to increase your insulin resistance, to increase your blood glucose in the morning, is the excess food that you're eating, being on top of your caloric deficit. If you're eating under your caloric deficit and you're regulating the amount of carbs and sugars that you put in your body, you're going to have great insulin sensitivity. That's what we care for. So, can you have sugars? Absolutely. What sugars do we want? Bananas, kiwi, watermelon, and fruits. Fruits are okay. Fruits don't make you fat. What's making you fat is the other garbage that you're eating. Bottom line.
Well, the body processes these fruits a whole lot easier than let's say a cookie. And I'm putting blueberries in my oats. I'm putting blueberries in my wraps and salads. And so I think people struggle. When I say no sugar, I'm not eating any sugar. I'm eating fruits, guys. I'm not eating cookies and things like that for now. For now, I will enjoy a donut at some point, but right now I'm gonna fix this. And but when I have a donut, it's gonna be one,
Yeah.
not 10, 12.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
But okay, all right. So wrap it up. If there's any more important stuff, email me or DM me, whatever. We can help those other folks out.
Yeah, we'll do another episode, whenever you have time. I think this was awesome, dude. Very happy. This was legit. 2 hours talking. And I hope we brought some value to someone's life, which I'm sure I will. We've had over 72 people tune in from different platforms. So really awesome. Dude, thank you so much for
Good.
Guys, you can the episode on YouTube, Apple, iTunes, Spotify, Facebook, and all the good stuff. So thank you for tuning in. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out, boys and girls.